Max Payne, a game that made bullet time cool years before Hollywood ever did. People call it swap classic, a masterpiece, a noir action milestone. And I played it in 2026. Let's just say some legends age like fine wine, and some age like unrefrigerated milk left in a snowstorm for 25 years. Today, we're taking Max to class. Welcome to the Academy's Mature Review. When Max Payne hit the PS2 in 2001, it blew everyone's trench coats clean off. Comic panel storytelling, gritty noir monologues,
The train doors had already shut behind me, and I was in for the ride.
bullet-time combat that made you feel like a John Woo extra on the set of The Matrix. This was cutting-edge stuff. But here's the thing about cutting edge. Give it 20 years and the edge dulls. The rust sets in, and suddenly you're holding a butter knife that can't even break the skin. Max Payne on PS2? Oh, that's a butter knife. A plastic one. Let's talk performance. Or more accurately, let's talk performance issues. The frame rate on PS2 doesn't dip. It doesn't struggle. It doesn't stumble. It leaves a Yamcha-sized crater in your soul. There are moments where Max Payne is firing 2 engrams, performing a sideways dive, monologuing about his dead wife and surrounded by 5 monsters, and the game valiantly tries to render all that in what I'm generously calling 5 frames per hour. I saw single digits.
What the?
Not brief stutter single digits. Sustained, prolonged, cinematic. Slow motion isn't triggered by a button press. It's triggered by the GPU accepting its sad, lonely fate.
This was the rotten core of the Big Apple.
And in that sad way, the frame rate actually improves the noir mood. Everything becomes this blurry, dreamlike nightmare where you can't tell if Max is dodging gunfire or transcending time and space to have one more moment with his poor, dead wife. Let's talk gunplay. You think that's one thing Max Payne could rely on? Oh no. Combat in this version of the game is random. Shotguns can be sniper rifles across the level, while dual engrams are a dual inconvenience when mag dumping on the guy in front of you. Every encounter feels like playing blackjack while sprinting through a crime scene. And because the bullets have the consistency of abstract art, avoiding damage becomes a lower-tier, unpredictable affair. You might dodge everything like you're starring in The Matrix. Or you might get domed instantly by a guy you didn't see firing bullets with a hitbox the size of a filing cabinet.
I think he's dead already.
Skill matters, yes. But luck? Well, luck is the true protagonist. And the frame rate, she's the final boss. The levels? They're hallways. Long hallways. Occasionally hallways with boxes. Cover? No. There's no cover system. No leaning, no tactile peeking. You enter a room, enemies already spawned and firing, and your choices are 1. Hit the bullet time and pray, or 2. Reconsider your life choices while on the loading screen. But here's where the age really shows. Modern shooters train us to think about space, cover angles, lines of fire, and counterflow. Max Payne on the PS2 treats rooms like storage closets for goons. You kick the door, everyone shoots, someone dies. Maybe it's you, maybe it's them. The game flips a coin. Let's talk checkpoints. There are none. Well, okay, technically there are checkpoints. Level transitions. That's it. Which means if you die, and you will die, often for reasons not involving your actual mistakes, you're replaying that entire sequence again. This hits especially hard in later chapters where Max becomes a magnet for bullets, grenades, and scripted nonsense. No checkpoints might have been tolerable if the game was playing fair. But like a noir detective might say, Lady Luck is a drunk whore, and the deck was stacked against you long before the first card was dealt. Now, on normal difficulty, Max Payne feels like playing a modern game on Halo Legendary All Skulls mode. Enemies have perfect aim. You have a game that runs like a PowerPoint presentation. They react instantly. You're just trying to poke your head around the corner. They move with purpose. You have the fidelity of a monkey doing brain surgery with a pipe wrench. It's not challenging in a good way. It's challenging in that classic PS2, we know you're trading this in once you beat it way. To mine the random gun accuracy, the lack of checkpoints, and the frame rate drops that turn every fight into a slideshow, and difficulty becomes less a fair skill test and more acid that erodes your soul. Now, credit where it's due. The storytelling still holds up. It's melodramatic and self-aware in all the right ways. The graphic novel panels, perfect, timeless. Max's voiceover, hammy, noir-soaked brilliance.
The pictures were filled with good old times.
And here's the thing. When the combat works, it works. When the stars align, the frame rate behaves. When Max dives in sideways, blasting monsters with a shower of particle effects, still pretty cool. There are a few precious seconds that you understand why this game was a cultural moment. You feel the DNA of every third-person shooter that came after it. You feel the influence and impact that it had. That's a good thing. Where does this leave Max Payne on the PS2? It's important. It's historic. It's influential. But it has aged hard. The frame rate collapses regularly. Combat is a glorified dice roll. The difficulty is abrasive. Level design isn't design. It's a series of ambush closets. And the checkpoint system feels like it was built to test your patience, not your skill. The variety, still fun. The tone, still unmatched. The style, iconic. You play it today, you're not playing it for the gameplay. You're playing it to study a moment in gaming history. A prototype blueprint that modern shooters would eventually perfect. The Academy awards Max Payne 2 stars out of 5. Keep the change, filthy animal.